welcome back for more trigonometry fun. This is the reference angle calculator video using degrees for MathCelebrity.com. My name is Don Subsick, founder of Math Celebrity. Today I'm going to walk you through step by step how to calculate a reference angle in degrees for an angle theta. So if you're ready, let's get started. First, let's walk through the definition of a reference angle. So it's the smallest angle that the terminal side of a given angle makes with the x-axis. It's worthy to note angles have two sides, an initial side and a terminal side. If you draw your angle, the terminal side is the one that completes the angle, and this is the one that you want to make contact with the x-axis. So the reference angle has to be a positive acute angle where theta is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 90. So let's get started with the steps involved to find a reference angle. Step 1, part 1. We need to determine if the angle theta is between 0 and 360 degrees. If it is, stop here and call this angle theta. If your angle is not between 0 and 360 degrees, what you need to do is keep subtracting 360 until you get within that range. As an alternative, you can divide by 360 and take the remainder as your new angle. And I'll show you how to do that in a moment. No matter if you leave off on step 1 or the reduced angle in step 2, this angle is your new theta. And we'll take that on over to step 2. Next, we need to determine the quadrant for theta. Now, if you're familiar with Cartesian coordinates, you know that there's 4 quadrants. If you're not, I've listed them here. So here's quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4 on the XY plane. And I've listed out your quadrants and what the angle measurement needs to be. So once you determine your new theta in step 1, and I'll go back here, once you determine the new theta, you're going to take that new theta and find out which quadrant that your angle lies in. Then you take that quadrant and you bring it on over to step 3. Based on the quadrant for the new theta, you're going to apply the reference angle formula below. So here's the quadrant for your new theta, and here's your reference angle calculation. Now, if you remember in step 1, I said if it's less than 360, you stop. If not, you keep subtracting, and this is why. Because the maximum we want to be subtracting is, or starting with our subtraction, is 360. So now that you're in step 3, you found your reference angle. So you've first picked your angle theta, done any necessary adjustments if it's greater than 360, taken it to step 2, you found the quadrant of your new theta, and step 3, you found the reference angle formula. With those steps in mind, let's walk through a real-world example. Let's take angle theta equal to 500 degrees. So for step 1, we're going to walk through our choice here at the beginning. Is the angle theta between 0 and 360? It is not. So we move to step 2. If it's not, we're going to keep subtracting 360 until we get there. So let's subtract 360 one time from 500. 500 minus 360 equals 140. And 140 meets our interval now of 0 and 360. Because we met this interval, 140 is our new theta. And we're going to call this, we take this angle, theta, which is now 140, and we're going to move on over to step 2. We need to determine the quadrant for angle theta equal to 140. And on our chart, we see 140 lies within quadrant 2. So now we take quadrant 2 and we shuffle on over to step 3. For quadrant 2, the reference angle formula is 180 minus theta. And remember, our new theta was 140. So we take 180, subtract 140, and we get 40. And this is our new reference angle. Now, I hope you drill these 3 steps into your head. It's after you do these problems a few times, it almost becomes second nature. It's take your angle. If it's not between 0 and 360, get it there. That's your new angle. If it is between 0 and 360, that's your angle. Step 2, find your quadrant. Step 3, find the reference angle for your quadrant. Now it's calculator demo time. If you're on the Math Celebrity site, you already know how to get to the reference angle calculator. If you're finding us first from YouTube, I'll walk you through a quick demo of how to use these steps on our automated calculator if you're having trouble solving reference angles. Take a look at these examples. These are ways you can enter shortcuts in our search engine on the Math Celebrity site. Reference angle for 150. What is the reference angle for 1225? Or if you want to get to the calculator first, you just type reference angle and then you can load your angle value there. With that being said, let's jump on over to the calculator and we will run one example. So reference angle for, let's do the example I walked through in our demonstration, 500. So we'll go ahead, type that in, and it jumps to our reference angle calculator. The beauty of this is no matter what angle you enter for your reference, it's going to run those 3 steps on your angle. So this is dynamic math. This will change based on whatever angle you enter. As you can see, we walked through step 1. Is our angle between 0 and 360? No, it's not. So we do the adjustment. We get to 140. We determine the quadrant next for 140. That's quadrant 2, and then quadrant 2. Here's our reference angle formula. We subtract and we get our reference angle. That's how simple it is to check your homework and learn the reference angle 3-step formula. I want to thank you for spending time with me and checking out the reference angle video, and I will see you next time.